I genuinely have no idea what's going to happen in Knoxville for Tennessee this season. Like, they're playing a tug of war with my emotions on what to think. Because on one hand, you lost your starting quarterback where the offense was predicated around Nico getting better. And you still have some questions when it comes to the defense with what you lost in the draft. And then on the other side, you maybe upgrade at quarterback for Josh Heupel's system, and the schedule is extremely manageable. And I do believe in this wide receiver room, and you still have a good rushing attack. So it's like I'm going back and forth, and I could see both outcomes happening. So what needs to happen for the latter, where Tennessee goes on a run to the college football playoff in 2025? These three bold predictions would really help. So what's going on, SEC Unfiltered? It's Cole Thompson here. Volunteer Nation, like the video, hit the ring notification, and of course, subscribe to the channel because we talk about your Vols and college football every single day. Download the podcast version of the show. Follow us on the social media channels, the link in the description, and check out all of our great work found at secunfiltered.com. And as always, we're proudly fueled by our friends over at FanDuel. Go visit FanDuel.com/SECU. Join today and get started with $250 in bonus bets when you win your first $5 bet. Lay down $5, win that bet, whether it be on Tennessee's over, whether it be on Peyton Lewis, maybe winning the Heisman Trophy, or Tennessee making the college football playoff. You win that bet, you're going to get $250 in bonus bets. Sign up today at FanDuel.com/SECU. So remember, these are bold predictions. They're out of left field, which means when I'm right, you come back here and say Cole Thompson had it first. And when I'm wrong, you don't call me out because it was a bold prediction to begin with. Number one, I can't quit Mike Matthews. I can't. I just can't. He was one of my favorite players watching coming out of high school in 2024. I know he didn't have that big time role last year, but I just think that there is more than meets the eye. So bold prediction number one is that we see Mike Matthews have a Cedric Tillman / Jalen Hyatt renaissance in year two underneath Josh Heupel. I'm fully convinced with that because everything that I saw from him when he was coming out of high school was exactly what you want in a wide receiver number one. Solid hands, great speed, tracking ability like no one's business, made easy plays that were regularly actually challenging, kind of a walk in the park. Also, never seemed to drop many balls, pristine route running, all these things that were supposed to be a big time reason for his success in an offense that last year at times was a little bit underwhelming. Now, the thing is that Mike Matthews was the first person to say his route running was far up to par. High school route running and college route running are totally different. You have to sell everything because the defender you've got going against you is just as good as you. So my route running wasn't to the standard of Tennessee. Okay, they had an entire offseason to finite those little details to shake, shimmy, juke, and jive and make defenders miss the line of scrimmage to where you're going to get open. The other thing is that you are one of two returning quality players who already has a good understanding about what this offense is with meaningful playing time. Chris Brazzell is back for another year. You still have multiple other guys like Braylon Staley. You have Boo Carter that is going to be playing a little bit more offense this year. You also have Travis Smith, who came on in and has been very high throughout spring. But you and Chris Brazzell are like the two veterans of the crew. So I think that that's going to lead to there being higher expectations for you. You have got to be the dude that kind of sets the tone early on. Against Syracuse, carries that into the Georgia game. Even if you don't win that Georgia game, you look like that guy. The other thing that really stands out when it comes to Mike Matthews, and the reason I say Cedric Tillman and Jalen Hyatt is because neither one of them were ever the dudes from the second they arrived at Neyland Stadium. Neither was. Cedric Tillman had a phenomenal year, and he was an all-SEC wide receiver in 2021. It took 4 years for him to get there. Jalen Hyatt won the Biletnikoff Award. He was college football's best receiver in 2022. He single-handedly beat Alabama. Like, that's what he did. It took him 3 years to get to that level, to finally become that guy. And yeah, you had a couple of other guys that made some plays, like Squirrel White, who's now down at Florida State. He flashed potential, but he wasn't that dude. There were so many other things that you had to look at that took a while for him to kind of get acclimated to the system. And Brew McCoy, again, same thing, dealing with injury, dealing with off the field stuff. There were other issues to his game that took him a little bit while to get acclimated and adjusted to this play style. So Mike Matthews, year one was a disappointment. I'll be the first to say it. I thought he was going to be as advertised, like Cam Coleman, like Ryan Williams, maybe not Jeremiah Smith, but still very solid player. I can't quit him this year. I just can't. I think that there is so much untapped potential to his game. The veteranship and the understanding of what we know about the growth of wide receivers in this offense for Josh Heupel. that I think is finally going to come to fruition this year. I'm very high on Matthews having a breakout season. I think he could get over 70 receptions. I think he could get over 800 receiving yards. And there's going to be games where you're asking now, he's wearing 4, according to the website. Hey, 4, we need 6. Can you go ahead and add that together to make it perfect 10? That's what we need to see in Knoxville in 2025. Bold prediction number 2. I don't know if this is as bold as the other ones that I'm going to make, but still, I think it's pretty bold. I think Tennessee leads the SEC in turnovers. What I mean by that, before you come at me in the comment section, they're going to force the most turnovers. Defensively, they're not going to miss a beat. A lot of people are looking at the defensive line losing guys like Lott and losing guys like James Pierce. And I understand, and you have a new starting linebacker, and it's going to be frustrating, and you got to make sure that you build that kind of identity pretty early on. But I still look at what they retained. You still have one of the best defenders in Boot Carter on the back end. You still have Ricky Gibson. You still have Farouk. You still have Marcus Gorey. You still have Andre Turrentine. You still have Caleb Beasley. And you have Jamon McCoy. Now, is Jamon McCoy going to be back fully healthy week 1 when you face off against Syracuse? Probably not. Is he even going to be ready for the game against Georgia early on in the season? Probably not. So again, those are things that we look at and say, maybe that's an issue. Maybe that's something that we are a little bit concerned about. But you also still have very talented players outside of a Jamon McCoy, including Colton Hood, who came on in from Colorado. Not enough people are paying attention to what he did. Really interesting find from the University of Colorado last season. Had the breakout game against Kansas State when Travis Hunter left. Had his first career interception, returned at 59 yards to help set up a touchdown against the Wildcats. He also had another interception in the game against Arizona. I don't know if many of you know this, but he was guarding a certain number 4. Tet McMillan just went top 10 in the NFL draft. So now he's going to be added to your secondary. And I think that you can see Arian Carter make some plays on the ball. I think Joshua Josephs can make some plays on the ball. And then again, I said leading the SEC in turnovers. So that means forced fumbles, interceptions, pass breakups, every little detail like that. I think Tennessee is still going to be really good in that perspective, if not better than what we're giving credit to for my money, because that's how talented I think this defense still is. I'm not selling stock on what this defense is. I'm not. I think there's so much to buy into with the culture that has been implemented. And last season, part of the reason why Tennessee went on a run to the college football playoff was not Nico Iamaleava. It was the fact that you had a run game that you could turn to consistently with a star running back in Dylan Sampson. And if he wasn't getting the job done, well, you made a mistake on that one drive, but the defense was going to be a 3-and-out away from getting the ball back to you to make up for it. And I think that we still can have that vicinity. Last season, Tennessee finished 44th in interceptions, and they finished just outside the top 20 in turnovers and takeaways. I think that that's where we're going to be looking once again. They're leading the SEC in takeaways this year, whether it be with interceptions from Jamon McCoy, from Colton Hood, from Boo Carter, from Ricky Gibson, from Jeremiah Thielander, from Arian Carter, whatever it is. They're also going to lead in forced fumbles, and they're also going to lead in pass breakups. In every major category to where a ball is not moving forward for an offense, I think the balls are rocking in that sense. I'm very high on what this defense can be going into this season, and I really do believe that you still have a good identity that's going to keep you in a lot of games. And bold prediction number 3, and the reason this one's bold is because they haven't done it in 2 decades. But I think this is there. I want to see Josh Heupel win one major road game. One game. And it's not Oklahoma. Because Oklahoma last year, I get it. It was a homecoming matchup. We also remember what this offense looked like. You got to play against, I think, a top 25 team that actually lives up to its top 25 expectations. I think they go to the Swamp and they beat Florida. Now, hold on real fast. People are going to say this is not bold because Florida at this point, we don't know what they're going to be at the season's end. They may end up being 6-6. They may end up being closer towards firing Billy Napier. Billy Napier may be out of a job at this point. They may not have DJ Lagway because Lagway still could be dealing with the shoulder injury. He may be injured. But it doesn't really matter. You haven't won in the Swamp in over 2 decades. You haven't been able to go to the house that Spurrier built and that Urban transpired. And then Jim McElwain was there and Will Muschamp was there. And then you throw in, of course, Dan Mullen being there. And all these other coaches that you thought, hey, they're supposed to be the standard of it. And they underwhelmed and they were underachieving and they never seemed to find their footing outside of Urban, of course, but you still lost. That's on you. That's a Tennessee problem. Just like Georgia right now has an Alabama problem, The same thing goes for Tennessee going down to Gainesville. You can win that game when it's played in Neyland. Can you win that game on the road? I think so. I think there's a lot to like about that. I think number one, you got to talk about you're going to have, I think, solid quarterback play. Maybe it's Joey Aguilar, maybe it's Jake Merklinger, maybe it's George McIntyre at the time. But I do think that all three of them are going to be solid fits for what you want to run with Josh Heupel's system. You're still going to have a very solid run game. Yes, you no longer have Dylan Sampson, but let's call a spade a spade. Some of the best years of Josh Heupel's rushing attack is when he had multiple running backs working. And now you do. Star Thomas comes on in from Duke. You still have Peyton Lewis. You have Deshaun Bishop. That's a 1-2 combination that could be lethal. And then you also have some wide receivers that at this point of the year have either shown you that they are as advertised. They are the dudes. They are the difference makers. Or they haven't. And I think you will. Now, I don't know if it's going to be a Miles Kitselman and a Mike Matthews. I don't know if we're going to see Travis Smith break on out. It may end up being a Chris Brazzell. It could end up being a Braylon Staley. Somebody is going to pair alongside as a two tandem that will win its one-on-one battles. And I think that just knowing that you haven't done something and that there still are people questioning a little bit of Josh Heupel, a little bit of what he can do on the road. You go down to the Swamp in November. You secure yourself at least a winning season, and you end the streak. It may not be the perfect season out in Knoxville. I think a lot of Volunteer fans are kind of changing their tone of, hey, 9-3, really solid year. 10-2, miraculous year. 8-4, we'll understand because of the entirety of the offseason. But to get that signature win, don't think it's going to happen out in Tuscaloosa this year, but to get a signature win against a rival in their backyard, and maybe you play well in the Georgia game too. Who's to say? But at least in that game, it's showing that Heupel's the right guy, and a 1-year hiatus, not the end of the world. Still have everything that you want going ahead to where you can be right back in the running for a college football playoff berth next season. If not even this season, if all these bold predictions come true. But let me know in the comment section down below, what did I miss on? I think Mike Matthews is going to be a stud. I think that Tennessee leads the SEC in takeaways, and I think that they're going to beat Florida down in the Swamp. But let me know what you believe. Like, review, hit subscribe. Make sure you're following us on all social channels at SEC Unfiltered. Follow me at Mr. Cole Thompson. Check out all of our great work found at SECUnfiltered.com. And as always, go visit FANDUEL.com/SECU. Join today in the madness and make sure that you get your bets in. Win $250 in bonus bets. Until next time, folks, I am Cole Thompson. Vol Nation, you're going to be fine in 2025. Peace.